Hello there, and welcome back. It's obviously Monday post LSCC Wales Comic Con. So the atypical catch up vlog review / overview of the weekend. So what was it like? So I think we'll start with the first and most pressing question, which is of course the new venue. I think it went well. I think it's a lot more suited to the con as a whole. The actual location itself, where it was in Telford, there was a kind of a shopping centre / outdoor mall type thing. There was an Asda, there was like 2 malls either side, there was like 6 hotels that surround the place. So convenience wise, I mean, because obviously for us Wrexham was only half an hour drive away, so we could just drive there and back. This one is a bit more of it took 2 hours there to about an hour and 50 back. So there's a lot more. It's a bit of a hike, but I mean, with the number of hotels that surround the thing, it's gonna be a lot easier for a lot of people to get to it. Guests were, but at least inside, I say to a lot of people, I said it had like an old school Liverpool MCM feel, because it did it 2 years, and it was a really similar setup, which was hall, guests kind of around the outside, traders in the middle, second hall, guests along the back wall, traders covering most of that floor. So there was a lot of different merchandise stands and stuff. There was a lot more variety, I think, than I've seen at Wales. Generally it's like 20 blokes selling Funko Pops and things like that. There was a couple of them there, but there was like artists, and there was one guy who was selling just kind of Buffy figures, and though I hadn't seen a guy with that scale of kind of figure collections. He had like Doctor Who figures, he had a signed Jake's figure signed by Jason Mewes. £80 wasn't too expensive, but we didn't end up getting it. So it was a fairly decent layout. I will say that from the outset. I mean, it felt right. You know what I mean? It felt like a good way of laying it out. So they obviously considered that. I mean, apparently, with the photo shoot areas, there was 3 in one, and one was literally round the corner and quite a distance away. But that was for a lot of the smaller guests. Just drinking my coffee. Give me a sec. But as from my experience of the weekend, because obviously this is what I'm going from here, didn't really have any major issues. Nothing too bad. But the one thing I am going to say is I am going to post this video and a possible follow-up one in like the Wales groups and stuff, like I normally do. So what I'm going to ask the people who are watching this is, I want to hear your Wales stories. I want to hear good experiences, bad experiences, stuff that stayed with you, stuff that didn't. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a follow-up video with those experiences and post that. And that's kind of a good feedback, bad feedback situation. So when I can get, because all I'm just going to do is actually read people's comments, and so that's what I want you to do. I want you to comment. You can also put pictures and stuff in there if you want, like a photo shoot memory or whatever. You just want to hear your Wales Comic Con experiences, because that'll give me something nice to do for a follow-up. And I want to kind of look at the good and the bad, because obviously this video is only me, my stuff, so hopefully that will sort some stuff out. I mean, hopefully people like Jamie and Shane do watch these. I mean, I don't know, they've never said they do, but so we'll start with day one. So day one was just photo shoots. We had about 4, and I had 2 guests I wanted to meet, and there was a third one. We did an hour over, but we went for it eventually, and we just got a selfie with him. So first photo shoot was like Kingston, when we queued outside because I was early bird, the wife was VIP. She went in her queue, got in quite easily. With our one, basically, with the way it kind of, with this queue was just snaking out, and I kind of walked up it. Luckily I met somebody I knew about a third of the way up the queue, so I joined with him, which is a bit naughty of me, I know, but he offered, so I did accept. And we kind of put it up. The queue started to move about 9:45, so I was like, oh, okay, so this isn't bad. So we started to move, and we hit kind of a brick wall about 5 to. We stayed where we were for about 20-25 minutes, so it was getting to about 1/4 past, and we hadn't moved one iota, and as I said, my Alex Kingsbury was about 15 minutes, so it was a bit squeaky bum time. And my wife was like, oh, where are you? I found everything, I know where everything is, it's fine. So we kind of got in. I did get in eventually, like 5-10 minutes later, so we kind of strolled in. And then I had a couple of strange experiences. Well, not strange, but kind of, as I said, with this thing of me being now people going, hi, no, you have your videos. And I'm like, because I'm still working out how to deal with that. I'm okay with it, but it's still a bit weird for me. So we walked in. We got to the photo shoot area, and as we kind of came out this little thin corridor, which I will mention a bit more of in a minute, there was just this guy kind of to the left of me, just standing there, just kind of casually, you know. And he said, oh, well, hello. And I went, hi. Because when you see someone and you're not too certain whether you know them or not, you're like, hi, and he just went to me, hi. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to say I like your videos. And I was like, oh, thanks. And I didn't know what to do. So I think in the future, if someone says that, I'm just going to go take a selfie with them, because I can put them in these videos and, you know, prove I'm not completely insane. So we went into the Alex Kingston shoot, and my wife was wearing a quite nice tundra. So she was very bouncy. She was very Jeremy Renner, which is, if you have seen previous videos of mine, is a catch-all term I use for a very good guest who's very up for it, you know what I mean? They're not like, oh god, I'm here again, you know, type of people. So she seemed very happy. So we walked up to her and we got on either side, and I came to that, said, well, that's a really nice dress, to which my wife responded, oh, it's for David Tennant. And she's like, really? And did what she did to me, which you'll see the picture of now. So that was fairly a good start to the day. I think when I tweeted that out, that's pretty much what I said. It was a very good start to the day. And as we were leaving, the guy who was kind of running the out queue, the out bit, stopped me and said, oh, hello, hi, just to let you know, I'm the guy you were talking about in the video. And I was like, which one? And he said, the one who was doing this and beckoning you over and told you I liked your videos. And I was like, oh, well, thanks. So, well, hello again. You're going to get mentioned again. So, yeah, he's 2 for 2. He's going to end up being a running theme in these at this rate. So we did that shoot, and it was kind of out and then straight back in for David Tennant, which my wife got made David Tennant propose to her. So here that is. See, this is obviously the first couple of times you see my wife. She's okay with these ones going up though. And then after that, it was solo Matt Smith, which my wife went into. I may put that up. That was just like a normal shoot, and then we had a bit of a gap, so we just kind of wandered around for a bit. So I then got my 2 autographs. So first one was Michael Rooker, which most people know from Walking Dead, and crikey, Guardians of the Galaxy. Why did I have to think about that? And he was fairly nice. He was a really nice guy. Then what was really kind of amusing was I got him to sign Morat's poster, because obviously I think he'd been handed Walking Dead. I mean, there might have been someone who went, hand me a portrait of a serial killer. But he was very Michael Rooker. If that's an explanation, he was kind of very southern, very bouncy. He was standing up, which is that seems to have been a running theme of some of the guests this weekend. I just have seen more of this guests standing and hi, how you doing? Because obviously you're standing, so they're looking down on him. Very firm handshake, very nice guy. He's just signed my poster, quite big, really next to Kevin Smith. My wife commented it looked like Kevin Smith had merged into Michael Rooker, which would be an unusual but fairly weird thing to happen. Then, pretty much immediately after, I did Dean O'Gorman from The Hobbit. He really liked the poster. I have put a picture of it before, but I might, if I can remember, take a picture of the autograph and the poster, because it's a teaser one for the Desolation of Smiley Street. Little Martin Smith, I think, Martin Smith, little Martin Freeman, and kind of like a massive kind of landscape, and I bought it because it would have lots of room for signatures. And he was like talking, and he was going on about because the lady before me was German. So he was going on about trying to learn languages and things like that, and he has a couple of friends who are German. He's harassing them constantly to teach him German, and they're flatly refusing. And they were okay. So we had a bit more of a gap. We kind of and ahed over John Ross Bowie from The Big Bang Theory, because the wife is working her way through them on Netflix, so she's on about season 6, I think, at the most. So she knows, you know. So we were like, feck it, let's go meet the guy. So we walked up, and as you may see in the vlog footage in a second, I did mention this, but I want to mention it again because it did make me so happy. I had a Gallifrey University t-shirt on, and he took one look at it and he just went off, you know, like, ah, that's an awesome t-shirt. And he called me a next level dork and things like this. And I commented that, you know, you should see this room, you know, if you watch this video, you can get a look at it. And then he mentioned Will Wheaton. He said, oh, he crossed the face. He said he always just does that on any picture with, even though he's a friend of his. So, and I then mentioned this story. I tell people about me and this French girl kind of at LFCC with Will Wheaton. His photo shoot main group had gone. Me and him were running a bit late. And when we got there, he basically, for want of a better word, had a kind of anxiety attack. So we were just kind of standing there going, no, don't worry. We're not in any hurry, just take your time, man. And we kind of helped calm him down. So we got our photos, and he was like, that's really cool, that's very, and I was like, yeah, I didn't want to come off as, where's my photo, you bearded prick, you know. So that he seemed to appreciate that, and we had a bit of a chat about kind of anxiety and stuff, because he said he suffers from things like that, and I said, so do I. But he was gorgeous. We took a selfie. Here it is, and again, lovely guy. If he's ever at a con, please go meet him, because he is definitely worth it. He even signed a hello, which, I mean, he's fairly aware of that character. And that was pretty much it. And we did the Two Doctors shoot, which is David Smith and Matt Tennant. And David Smith, why am I calling him David? Matt Smith, David Tennant. And it's kind of strange to have been David Smith and, you know, Matt Tennant. But we went into that, and for some reason in the picture my brain broke, because it was like, Two Doctors! And I pulled this really weird face, like, it looks like Matt Smith stuck his finger up my arse, and I said, you can see that picture now. Kind of like that, I don't know why. So that was like day one. So what I'll just do is, just for kind of completeness sake, I'll put the vlog footage, which I may say some of the things I say in here, but here it is. Hello there. Right, so this is a fairly brief one. This is the end of day one of Wales. Just as I'm backlit, and look almost glamorous. So how did it go? Is I think your main question. So what I'll do is I'll do it in stages. So what I'm going to firstly do is something that's happened today, quite a lot more than I expected. Was when I first walked in, I was immediately recognised by someone. Literally, we were walking to the Alex Kingston queue, and this guy just turned, looked at me, said, "Oh, hi," and I was like, "Hi." I hadn't a clue who he was, I will be honest. It looked familiar, but I couldn't work out where from. And he went, "Oh, by the way, love your videos." And I said, "Oh, thanks very much." Because went to Alex Kingston, and then in there. When we were coming away from that kick, which you'll see on the actual overview, the guy who was running the Yank queue stopped me and he said, "Hello." He said, "I was the guy you were talking about in your SCC video, the one who came and waved you and said." So I was like, "Oh, right, okay." And it happened twice more, and I've had about 4 people message me or say on Facebook, "You're doing a video about Wales, really want to see it." So, okay, peer pressure fully loaded. So, what was it like? Because obviously this is the first one at Telford, the International Centre. First thing was the queuing was a little biffy, but it wasn't massively biffy, if you know what I mean. I got in time for my Alex Kingston shoot, and we were letting people in for that, so that seemed to be okay. But there didn't seem to be any major issues. I mean, there was, before you kind of queued to go into this, there's just crowds of people, but I think that was more of an issue. They started to give people megaphones about halfway through the day, which I think kind of solved that. We didn't do any talks, we're doing the talks tomorrow. The photo shoot areas, I mean, there was a worry about them having the photo shoot collection in one area, but if you were like a platinum or a VIP, or maybe the first half of the entry, you could get out, get your photo, and if there was an issue, go back, because it wasn't a massive gap, if you know what I mean. So that was fairly fine.
Um, People were absolutely lovely. I actually had a Gallifrey University t-shirt on because it was a Doctor Who day mostly. I didn't get a photo shoot with Michael Rooker or Dina Gorman, but I got their autographs. We'll discuss that more in the other video. Um, and John Ross Bowie, who's Kripke from The Big Bang Theory, he was bloody lovely. Because we were umming and ahhing over whether to get him when we got him, and he looked at my Gallifrey University t-shirt and he essentially called me a next level geek, which I was really happy about, which just sounded a bit daft really, but it was just like, that's such a compliment. But everyone was just kind of nice. It wasn't massively stressful. I mean, I did say to a few people it did kind of remind me of an MCM or a Showmasters, whereupon it was a large convention centre. The guests were kind of all around the edges, the traders were in the middle. I did get some footage of the Just Dance games, which I thought was really good, but they do seem to have, they're saying that the next one is going to be here, so I think this could be the permanent home of it now. But it's interesting. I'm going to be doing a lot more vlogging and taking photos of cosplayers tomorrow, because we've got nothing tomorrow. It's just talks and walking around and seeing what we can do. So hopefully this is just a nice quick one. There will be footage. I may just put this in place of the first day, and then after this I'll just do a talk about the next day. But as you see me on the floor, just come and say hi. If you want a selfie, fine, cool. I don't really mind. I mean, who the hell wants to take a picture with me? But still, if you want to do it, feel free, come on.
Okay, so there it is. Yay. So we go to day 2 now. Now day 2 was a very different experience because it was just, we had nothing. We didn't have any shoots. We didn't really have any plans. But I knew the one thing was I wanted to do the cosplay masquerade because I've never done one. And Wales, every year we get to the Sunday, we do everything we need to do, and it's about 2 o'clock, it's like 2 o'clock, and usually I'm like, can we go to the masquerade? And she's like, oh, do we have to? Oh, yeah. So I was like, okay, fine, let's just go, and I'll watch it next year, and that's happened for 4 years. So I was like, right, I'm definitely doing it, because we've got the time. So what we basically did was we watched all of the talks that day. So there was the DC Universe one, Doctor Who, Middle-earth, and then the masquerade. So I didn't get any footage or any photos of the DC Universe one because we were quite far back, because us being stupid, we'd kind of forgot that VIPs can get to the front couple of rows, and we didn't check. So we just kind of sat at the back because I think we came in just before it started. And that was Zachary Levi, Donal Logan, then I can never remember his name, the guy who plays Constantine, Matt something. I'll put it in the comment thing here, but he kind of snuck in halfway through, which did seem to be a theme for some of the talks, to be honest with you, and that was an okay one. That was fairly cool. I would say that's a standard con talk. They answered questions, the jokes, stuff like that. So that was what you kind of expected from your average convention talk, your panels, whatever you want to call them. So next we get to the Doctor Who one. Now this was interesting. So instead of trying to explain why it was interesting, what I would just do is I'll just show you the footage I got of them coming on stage. So I'll give you an idea just by how Alex Kingston is behaving. So here it is.
Hello, how is everyone?
Yeah.
Are you all good?
Yeah.
Are you ready for a Doctor Who panel?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, can you put your hands together, please, then, for Arthur DeVille and Alex Kingston?
Oh. I think she's dressed.
Take a seat.
So she could tell she was fairly up for it. She ran the talk, and it was mostly her and Arthur Darvill. And my wife did actually film some bits of it, which I might just get her to post, give me the videos, and I'll just post them up on YouTube for you to watch. But they were even, I mean, Arthur Darwin, he always thinks kind of a very reticent kind of character, but I think the energy that Alex Kingston gave off kind of lifted him a bit, and they were fairly hilarious. And Alex Kingston was doing this thing where she would just randomly, at points during the talk, would stand up, ask a question, and then would point at someone, and if they got the answer right, she would throw a banana at them. Now, you may be thinking, are you having a brain freeze or something? What are you on about? So just to prove I'm not going insane, here's actually footage of her doing it once.
Impossible planet, there is an alien species who are there to save the crew. What's the name of the alien species? Okay, this lady here with the blue hair. Yes, you, blue-green hair. Dude. Yes! You win a banana!
That was a good shot.
So as you can see, you know, fairly fun. Then at the end, she pulled up 4 people, gave them 2 mics, and then she was like, right, we're going to go da-da-da-dum, 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 and you guys do the theme tune, the other bit. So here's the footage of them doing that, and as you can see, the 2 guys on the right didn't seem to want to be involved. They were like, I think because they might just end up with a talk and weren't really Doctor Who fans, and just didn't know the theme tune, which is like, how can you not know the Doctor Who theme? So here's the footage of her having fun with those guys.
Da 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 dun 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 da 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 dun. Pathetic! Pathetic! Oh my God, David Bradley, you get the banana.
So, you know, so that was definitely a highlight of that day. I think, weirdly enough, the highlights of that weekend just seemed to have Alex Kingston involved in them. So then we came to the Middle Earth talk, which was, I mean, after following that previous one, which is obviously a talk high point of that day, they did seem a little, I mean, the 3 of them, I think they were trying their best, but they were very low energy. I think Bernard Hill was trying his best, poor boy that he was. He was telling us that he got his ear split open in Turin, and he hated his helmet, and he asked them, apparently they gave a lot of the cast their swords, and he said, no, I just want the helmet, and apparently he gets it out and kicks it around the garden because he hated it. But they were very, I don't know what the word I can use is, very kind of, it just seemed low energy. I think maybe Lee Pace was just jet lagged to all hell and back, because I don't know where he'd come from, but apparently he's filming some show for Apple TV. Based on some Isaac Asimov books. And Dina Gorman was just trying his best, but they didn't really have good answers to the questions. And I don't want that to sound like a total con going, oh, you didn't do your best, but it was slightly below what I would consider a standard talk, if anything. You can see they were trying, but I just don't think they had the energy to deal with it, for want of a better word. So then it got to the cosplay masquerade. Now, in the previous couple of talks, we noticed that people were not going out; they were just sitting in the seats, and the people would go out and the people would come back in. So we thought, right, okay, we'll try that for the masquerade, because I thought I'll get some pictures of the cosplayers and post them on Facebook, which I have done. For the World's Comic Con group, there is a post. I've put all the cosplay pictures up, but so we sitting there, and this guy said, oh, just to let you know, just we need to get you to come up, because we just want to have a quick sweep through it and just make sure we've got enough seats. Which I was kind of like thinking, oh, that must be this quite a massive queue, because, you know, generally, I mean, from what I remember, especially with like MCMs, I haven't been to one for a couple of years, but the cosplay masquerades are always very, very occupied, you know, usually full or near full. So we'll get out and join the queue. So we walked out, and I was expecting this immense line going down, crammed full of people. No, it was about 2/3 of the way down. So we just went and joined it. People joined the back of us, and we were like, it's going to take 10-15 minutes or whatever. And so this woman come out, but 5-10 minutes after we started queuing, was like, hi, just to let you know, the judges are now prejudging the contestants. Which I was going, huh? What the hell's that? How can you prejudge when you're judging? Is it like, so what do you think of this? It was just a bit strange thing to say. This, and it shouldn't take long. We'll let everyone in once that's been done. Okay, fine. So we saw all the cosplayers go in, and then after half an hour, nothing seemed to be happening. There was just, my wife just walked up, looked at us, and did you see some of the cosplayers sitting on the first 3 rows? Nothing seems to be being done. So after a little while, we then got let in. So we got to our seats, got fairly decent ones, got 3rd row from the back at the end. So I was like, there was a mic there, but I could still get some decent pictures. And the cosplay masquerade just went on as a normal cosplay masquerade does. You may be seeing pictures of some of the cosplayers while I'm doing this, so you may see them. I might put a couple more at the end as well. But there was a really standard masquerade. There wasn't anything. I mean, there was a kid in a scarecrow outfit, which I didn't get a good full length one off, but it was just brilliant. If he'd have done it himself, I'd have like, oh. But I think his mum might have made it. You would think anyway. But it was just fairly awesome. There was a Grinch, again, fairly good. And he was like, I mean, I know the Grinch was Welsh, but apparently he is. I didn't get any real footage of that, so I got photos, so you'll just see them while I'm talking about it here, and I'm going to put a couple more at the end. So overall, really, what was the viewpoint? I think that, if they stayed at that venue, I think the two things, sort out the queue and outside photo shoots, and secondly, can you call yourself Wales Comic Con when Telford isn't in Wales? But something we learned that was interesting, I don't know which talk this was in, I think it was the DC Universe one. Matt Ryan, that's his name. Thank you, Brain, Constantine. He said that one of the things he did, because he was like, he kind of thought the same thing I did when I first entered Telford, that it was in Wales, but he said apparently Telford was part of Wales up until the 6th century when the British came and nicked it off the Welsh. So, technically speaking, if we were on that con in 500 and something, we would still be in Wales. So, but the thing would be, I think, that if they stay there and that's the venue, really, they might have to change the name or initialise it or something, because it's Wales Comic Con in England. Makes no sense. So that might be something they need to look at. But as far as I can see, I saw no major issue. So I've been looking at Twitter. There's been a lot of Facebook. There hasn't been, from what I can see anyway, not much issues. There hasn't been any major problems that were reported. Again, I'll restate it because I said it at the start. So if you do, comment down here or message me, send me your information if you find me, because I'm fairly easy to locate. When this face does not hide in a crowd. Message me with your stories, your experiences, and I said I am going to do a follow-up video about them. I may just read people's things out. If you had a good thing or a bad thing happen, please let me know. But definitely for this year, Wales went pretty well. Not Telford, we'll call it Telford TCC. So yeah, but it definitely went well. I think that's a venue they should look at staying at, because it had the scope to get more guests in, and it seemed to be a fairly convenient place, because as I said, there was hotels, there was food within reasonable distance, which you didn't really have at Wrexham. There was more food trucks because it was outside, but there wasn't a variety, and there certainly was there in Telford. So that's it for this one. I'm going to post this on the Wales Comic Con group and on YouTube, of course. And next con, we're looking at paring back a bit over next year, so there might not be many of these. We're definitely going back to Wales / Telford, because James Masters cancelled, which is why I'm wearing this in kind of memoriam. And we don't know. We may do a day, we may do 2, we may go like Friday, do the Saturday, go home Sunday. So it might not be a full overview but it will still be an overview of the day. So thanks very much for watching, and see you next time.